Without doubt, the most expensive and the most random 5 upgrades to a Volkswagen Transporter this channel has ever seen. Nobody told me about the corrosion. Yuck. Probably got more chance of this thing blowing up in my face, but it's free installation. Sounds so bad. Don't cut this into an indicator and then blame me. As we all know, picking wheels for your project could be the most important and the most difficult decision you will ever make. Wheels can make or break a build. And I made my decision, and I think I made a good one. Yet not a year has passed by and I'm now forced to change my mind. Roll the tape. That is so cool. So is that. But check this out. Look at that. Now you may recognize this from the Christmas Roadshow a couple of weeks ago where I had a bit of an impromptu tour of Transporter HQ. Since then, my little brain, tick, 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 couldn't get these wheels out of my mind. It was a toss-up between 2 wheels in the Navis range for my 4Motion Transporter, and it was between the Mac AT, that's available in 3 colors, and it would have always been black for me, or the Galida. This to me is a true swamper wheel. Please do not sit there and think that I'm only putting new wheels on my Transporter because I'm now friends with Transporter HQ and they've given me a set. That could not be further from the truth. Every time you guys use the code UAO5 and save yourself money at checkout, somebody in the office gets a cookie and puts it in a jar. That jar's got my name on it. Well, now I've got enough cookies to put towards buying myself a new set of wheels. I loved the KMC hole shots. I'm probably going to go ahead and say it's going to take me a while to get used to not having them. They stood out to me from day one. I immediately went to them. What I didn't realise was everybody else immediately goes to the KMC hole shot. So they are very, very popular, which is okay. But nobody told me about the corrosion. This is a wheel that's been on my van for about 12 months. Now, hopefully you guys can see, but around these studs, it corrodes. People suggest that the chemical reaction that happens between these stainless studs and the alloy in the wheel creates that reaction. And it seems to just be a given, like people know it's going to happen. You say the word KMC hole shot to anyone that knows, and they will say corrosion. They are a beautiful wheel. I love the way they look, but they corrode. How is that okay? I just don't understand. I mean, they're not the most expensive wheel in the world, don't get me wrong. And from afar, once you clean them, you stand back and you can't really tell. But as soon as you get closer, you will see almost like that pickling effect. Now, I've seen people unwind those nuts, get them powder coated and put plastic nuts in. I know that that is a way around. But at this stage, I just want something nice and that's going to last. I would still suggest, if you don't like the Galida, get the KMC hole shot because it's an absolutely fantastic looking wheel. But if I'm going to go to shows and maybe even enter the dirty thing into a show and shine, I don't really want the wheels to be pickling. And don't forget that code. 5% on a £10 item is 50p, so it's negligible. But on a set of wheels, if you bought a set of wheels and tyres, you're looking at about £90 off. So that's £22.50 for every strike of a keyboard when you type UAO5. That's pretty decent. And I was totally incorrect when I said that these may take some getting used to because it took all of about 4 minutes. As soon as the boys were finished at Transporter HQ fitting these, I was absolutely in love with them. Look at them. They look strong, they look durable, they look absolutely fantastic. For me, a true swamper wheel. They've got that beaded tyre look to them. They're not too blingy. They look simple, although there's quite a lot going on. This is my opinion, but I think these are the nicest wheel at the moment for the Volkswagen Transporter Swamper Edition. The next upgrade on the list is an audio one. We are swapping these for these. This is the Alpine SPC 108 T6. So this is a door card speaker and A-pillar tweeter upgrade. So this all starts with removing the door card, and that is going to be the hardest part of this whole job. So we start by removing the little panel that conceals the handle fixings. That will hide 2 T30 Torx head screws. Just whip them out. I'm not going to do a nut and bolt start to finish because Transporter HQ have already got their own video describing every single nut and bolt. So if you want a bit more attention to detail, hit that video up there. I just want to show you a quick insight into this kit because I think it's going to be a nice one. 2 bolts in the top behind the handle cover and 1 in the center. You can't miss it. That is a T25. That's a little bit smaller. And then on the underside, there are 2 of these weird little fixings that basically you rotate them by 90 degrees, they spin, they stay in place, and then you remove the door card like that, like that. And that is a 10mm spanner. Now it's a case of grabbing hold of it, yuck. I hate removing panels, trims, door cards. On a cold day like today, don't let the sun fool you, panel clips just pulverize into a million pieces. I absolutely hate it. So with that in mind, I preempted that a few may break and I dropped in on TPS and I bought these little suckers. They were £1.20 each, and these are the clips that are on the back of your door card. I haven't looked yet. Oh yeah, let me show you. This is what it is supposed to look like. It's quite a funky little thing. And that is how they end up after you force them off. So for £1.20, I will put the part number below. So find a friend that's got a TPS account or drop in on Volkswagen. I don't imagine that they can even charge you much more. £1.20 each, they're 6 aside. Do it, be prepared. Once we've drilled the original rivets out that hold the original speaker in, we get our own ring that comes with the Alpine kit. Just make sure the electrical connector is facing up. All of the holes line up exactly. I've already done the other side, and that is the beauty of buying something that is vehicle specific. Allen key one side, 8mm the other, fix the ring, let's go. So I do apologise about the light. It's either really windy or really bright, and then it goes really dull. Now it comes to the wiring section. So the wire that has red in it is your positive and the brown is your ground or negative. So I have a quick look on there, and there are 4 slots, 1 and 3 are taken, 1 being the brown, 3 being the red. So I will then now what I would do naturally is test that before we go ahead and put the door card back on. Hit radio. Welcome back, guys. It does work, but I obviously couldn't let you guys hear it because it was the radio. Now then, let's put the door card back on, which is exactly what we did to remove it in reverse. The tweeters on the Volkswagen Transporter from factory are in the A-pillar here, and they're covered by this OE grey kind of grille. I think my favourite part about the new tweeter is the grille that it comes with. Spoiler alert. Spoiler. And it all starts by removing the door handle if you have a Highline, which is then two Torx. Wanker. A-pillar itself, basically, if you push it that way, the opposite way to where it's fitted to, there you go. Tool. It's basically, sounds so bad, I'm so sorry. That is all it is it's forced on with almost like plastic dowels. Now there is the little electrical tweeter, the standard electrical connection that I'll remove. But yes, these dowels almost that are ridged, they force themselves into a fitting that's in the pillar. I was once again a clever little boy, preempted that I may break some, so I picked some up because they were 90p each. Turns out I didn't need them because I didn't break them, but they're always handy to have them for 90p each. Why wouldn't you? The guy in the Transporter HQ video to remove this, he actually used a little set of snips what we need to do, hopefully you can see, any of these grey blotches that go through that black frame, they are actually what's holding that tweeter into that grill. He used a little set of snips. I can't seem to fit any of mine in there, so I'm going to get all barbaric and just use my little Dremel to zip zip in there to remove that. And once those plastic welds are removed, yeah, look at that, that comes straight off. The original grill just comes straight out the front. I'll dust that down. Framework that is going to hold the tweeter is in 3 pieces. That is an outer trim, this gorgeous grill, probably the reason why I bought this whole kit, and then the back piece. We are going to put our speaker frontal into its front trim. This can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to push that through what is the front, and then basically that there, with all of those receivers, they allow the teeth from the initial grill to clip into it. It couldn't be any simpler. Do appreciate that camera angle sucks, but like I say, this is just an insight into how this thing is fitted. But I'm applying pressure onto the trim and just pushing these clips in, and that is that. That is how that is installed. And then the tweeter itself, once again, this is vehicle specific. So that fitting there fits straight into the factory tweeter fitting. Honestly, I love things when they are vehicle specific and you haven't just got to make them work, like no splicing, no joining, that kind of thing. That just pops into there. I'll do it wires facing down. That pops into there. And then I'll put the trim back on, just making sure that I clip that on the way. Let's put a little bit of music. That works. So that was just making sure it worked before I put it all back together, because you want to remove and install this as little as possible, because them clips, any panel clip, just seems to get weaker and weaker. So can we, last one. Is an epic upgrade. I am not kidding. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think that the standard setup was that bad. And I'm not gonna say it was bad, but that is phenomenal. And look how lush that looks. That looks screamingly beautiful. Yeah, so I'm really happy with it. I will put the link to this setup down below, and I'm probably suggesting allow an hour for each door card and probably 20 minutes per tweeter. But once you've done one side, the second side will be so much quicker. It actually takes longer to get set up and knowing all of the tools that you need. I actually used my own code. I used UAO 5 at checkout and got myself 5% off of this kit, which probably means someone put a cookie in a jar with my name on it, which is, I hope I'm not breaking any rules. For this very self-indulgent upgrade to the Volkswagen Transporter, I find myself at Seat Surgeons. And if you're wondering where you may have heard that name before, that might be because they are the chosen upholsterer of Ape Adventure vans. Some of the seat designs that go into the Ape Adventure vans are absolutely gorgeous. But as you guys know, I've already got reupholstered seats. So why am I here? Little bit of a look around the workshop, absolutely cracking, the things that they're doing in there. Some things that are in there are unrecognisable as seats because they're torn down into so many different pieces. I have no idea how it becomes a seat again, but the boys in there know exactly what they're doing. There's rows and rows of seats that they've had upholstered that are waiting to go out. Now, if you are in the market for seat upholstery, I know that Seat Surgeons have set prices. They do so many Volkswagen Transporter seats that they know exactly what it's going to cost. You don't need to come here if you don't want to. If you want to visit here and look through swatches and stitching and examples, absolutely fine, but they have got a very comprehensive website, or take a good look through their Instagram and cherry pick the things that you like. But I'm not here for seats. I've made those decisions and I'm happy with my decisions. I'm here for a steering wheel. This is the standard T6 steering wheel. It is non-offensive. It's in leather, multifunctional. It's actually an upgrade from the standard start line. This is nice, but what I am finding, because the steering wheel is round, I know that sounds stupid. I am finding myself knocking my knees getting in and out the van since having the swivel seats fitted. That could just be me finding a practical excuse for such a self-indulgent upgrade, but I'm always in the market for an upgrade, so let's go take a look. And just like your seats, you can have your steering wheel upholstered any way you like, any color stitching, any style of fabric. I opted to match my recently reupholstered seats, and just to make my future life even more difficult, I went for Alcantara. So we've gone for matching Alcantara and we've gone for matching silver stitching. This looks absolutely fantastic. And the reason I say that it's going to be impractical is because I've had this in my possession now for about 4 minutes and I've had to wipe it down about 6 times. But that is something I'm willing to live with based on how absolutely bloody gorgeous it is. Installation is well underway and I feel a little bit stupid because he's just told me that installation is very simple and it's probably going to take about 10 or 15 minutes. Perhaps this is something I could have done myself. Probably got more chance of this thing blowing up in my face, but it's free installation. You can have your new steering wheel sent to you in the post and then you send back the body of your old steering wheel. It works on a part exchange basis. The modifications are made. So this steering wheel that I've got, for example, is a modified part exchange from a previous customer. That's how it works on the part exchange basis. But once again, installation is free. So I jumped in the van, stuck an audiobook on, and in no time at all, I'm here, I'm having a good look around, and it's being done by the people that know. Well, that's a fun fact. So if it's got a yellow clip, so like the resistor that's under your seat, yellow, it means airbag. Good consumer advice. Absolutely love my new steering wheel. It has totally changed the whole feel when you are driving this vehicle. Please remember that this is a commercial vehicle. This just started life as a panel van. Yes, it was a Transporter Highline, so it came with a few more creature comforts than, say, a Start line, but with the Alcantara, the extra thumb grips here, and also this little extra lip here, the shape is totally different. It feels better, it looks better. This cab area with the seats and the steering wheel, and I've got a few more little extras coming, honestly, it is an absolute joy. And this upgrade was about £350 plus VAT, so it is a bit of a self-indulgent one. I didn't need a new steering wheel. The other one, like I said to you, wasn't offensive in any kind of way. I just really wanted it, and I'm 100% glad that I went through with it because this is absolutely gorgeous. I can't stop touching it, he said. The reverse lights on a Volkswagen Transporter are very similar to the headlights. If you know, you know. If you own a Volkswagen Transporter, you will know that your reverse lights are absolutely shocking. So the installation of our super duper reversing lights actually starts by cutting the aperture out in which the lights are going to sit in. I use 25mm frog tape. This helps with the curvature of the van because using a ruler is pretty much ruled out. I then cut the square out using a little Dremel. You choose your preferred tool. I use this because it was under control, it's neat, it's tidy, and it's very, very precise. You then drill 2 holes and you bolt the light in place with the bolts provided. Remember, where I am deciding to fit these is in a plastic part, so we don't even need to protect the paint where we've cut. We now need to remove the tail light, and that is simply 2 Phillips screws, and then we push the tail light to the side and it will pop out of place. We remove the electrical fitting, and this is where we need to track down our reverse light and our ground. On my vehicle, which is a 2017 Volkswagen T6, the reverse light is on the near side and it is green and black. The earth or the ground is brown. That is my vehicle. Please do your due diligence in making sure you find the right wires. Don't cut this into an indicator and then blame me. For the electrical connection, I've decided to strip back the casing on the wire and physically wrap our new connection around it and solder it in place. Now you could splice, you could cut your wires, use one of those DIY, ready to go all-in-one heat shrink and solder fittings. I've decided to do it this way because then that original vehicle wiring is totally unaffected, it's totally uninterrupted. If my connection did fail, my rear lights will still work, it's just my super duper reverse light probably will not. Get those two connections soldered, we'll wrap it up with some insulation tape. I like to individually wrap each joint and then wrap the whole wiring section as a whole, just like it was before I started farting about with it today. Pop the light back in place, give it a test. Randomly, it is quite a nice day today, so it's always going to be difficult showcasing a new light. But come on guys, tell me you can see the difference between the factory reverse light and our new upgraded LED Stedi reverse light. I've just blinded myself just by looking at it. You will probably notice that I've fitted one on each side. That is because I like the symmetry and they look absolutely amazing. I may at some point run a second wire from this one to bridge it across so that they both come on as reverse lights, or I may in fact treat this as a work light and have a permanent 12-volt supply and a little switch just so I can switch it on at any point to add a little bit of light to the rear. But my thoughts are that that is going to be a pair of reverse lights. Navigating this driveway in reverse in the dark is an absolute nightmare, but it isn't anymore. This work light that we're using as a super duper reverse light is from a company called Stedi. These lights are actually in stock at Volkswagen T5 Upgrades. It was the crazy 4Motion AA van from Volkswagen T5 Upgrades that I first saw this. So in fact, I cannot take full credit. The cost of each lamp is about £60. I'm always reluctant to mention the cost of things because costs change. And if you're watching this video a year from now, you'll soon complain that the cost I said while I'm talking now isn't the cost when you click the button below. But that's the point. I will put a link to every product that's relevant. If I ever show an upgrade, there will always be a link in the description. And when you press that link, that will give you the cost today, no matter what day this is. The next upgrade on the list is a water tank. And at first glance, that could be a boring upgrade to bring you guys, but there just isn't that many videos on Volkswagen Transporter water tanks out there. Everyone seems to be opting for the little 10-litre jerry cans and the submersible pump. And coming from a big van background, I just wanted something a bit more permanent. This is a spare wheel water tank, vehicle specific to the Volkswagen Transporter from Online Tank Store. And believe me, I've had a few water tanks in my time. This thing is so well made. Forgive me, it's filthy because it's been installed onto the underside of my van for a while now. I absolutely love how this thing is made. It fits so well. There's a couple of holes. Once you remove your carrier from the underside of your vehicle, there's two holes. You make use of them, and then you also add an extra hole. So you're drilling two holes, 4 rib nuts, and it just fits. These are the stainless steel brackets, which are about £35 extra. Now, for all intents and purposes, yes, it is just a piece of stainless steel that is bent twice, but the holes are in the exact location, so I don't feel like you should bother trying to save the few pennies that these are and create these yourself, because these line up with these fixing locations here, and the only way to explain these is they are almost like a riv nut that is actually in the tank. This isn't just a hook and loop system. These brackets here, which fix to the side, and to the underside, fixed to the tank and then to the underside of the vehicle. That is the nicest thing I've seen on a water tank pretty much ever. And you can opt for how many connections you do and do not want. I'll have the filler that goes into the top and then the water outlet to the pump that comes in off the bottom. This thing is shaped exactly. So I hope you guys can appreciate that the shape under here moves so much, and that's why there's this step in the tank. The camera probably doesn't show it so well. The tank comes through here, actually steps up and goes into that shape there. This is vehicle specific. The fit will just blow your mind. This is such a great product. It feels thick and it feels strong and it feels like it's going to last. I looked at their website online and some of the tanks that these guys do, I looked for a friend that has a 4Motion Volkswagen Crafter. The shape of the tank for the Crafter is absolutely mind-blowing. I have no idea how they even come up with it, but here it is. Remembering spare wheel, I've got big wheels and tyres. The spare wheel carrier was sat there doing nothing. So this has a 67 litre capacity, I believe. That is more than ample enough considering this thing hasn't even got a shower. Now, I originally looked to do a bit of a MTB Vans style bike wash with a shower on the back here. But since then, I've actually decided that this van may go full camper. So that's why I haven't done any water connections and things like that, because I don't truly know yet what direction I'm going in. But this thing fits so well. So if you're after a water tank for a transporter or any other van, this isn't an affiliated link. They don't even know who I am at Online Tank Store, but I do know that they have the widest range of water tanks that I've seen.